Continuing on with the TMCC Library Open Genealogy Lab Outstanding Guest Speaker Series, today we are pleased to present Megan Rowland. Megan owns Megan's Genealogy Designs, LLC. She lives in Virginia and has provided services nationwide. She researches ancestors and provides a beautiful hardback book for her clients. She utilizes Ancestry.com and other websites as search engines for public records. To create her books, she uses Shutterfly.com, which is also where the book ships from. Megan has different packages available, and along with her personalized books, she offers the book provided by Ancestry.com with her research as a less costly item. So I'd like to offer a warm virtual welcome to Megan.
All right, I am Megan, and I do own Megan's Genealogy Designs. So I'm just going to be talking to you today about my business and about my books that I do. So I am based in Virginia, but I have helped people nationwide. I just finished a book for someone that lives in Washington. I am a certified genealogist. I took a course at IAP Career College. I do also have an associate's degree in applied science, which helped me maneuver through the business world, but the genealogist certificate really helped me a lot. So the first thing I have to do is I have to gain clients. And so I have to promote my business. And this is a photo of me at my first vendor event with my little ones. And so I have put a newspaper ad out there. It hasn't really gained a lot of clients as of right now, but I have only been in business for 4 months. So I'm hoping that that'll help me out later on. Word of mouth has helped me out a lot. I have business cards that I hand out along with flyers. It's nice to have the flyers because I can just give those to someone that's just asking a few questions, and then I can take it home and even hand it out to someone else. But the vendor events are the best that I've done so far to promote my business and get clients. I think it's just a more personal option, so they can actually hold the book in their hand and look at it and talk to me and ask me some questions. So that's where I've gotten my most clients. I have done some web advertising, and Facebook giveaways have helped me gain more followers on my business Facebook page. So that's been really helpful. So I do have to purchase a product. And that goes a long way. Just a small product helps me get more followers so people can see my page and what I do. And I have had people interested that message me on Facebook and booked with me. So I do have a website, and it's just like my lifeline. I love my website. It does provide a line of contact. It explains what my business is about, and I introduce who I am on there. I break down my packages. You can make a payment on there, and it includes links for my Facebook page. So I do the research mostly through Ancestry.com, and I build the tree. So even if a client already has a tree on Ancestry, I still build my own so I can go through the research and save what I need on there. So that's a way that I organize my research. I don't really use other people's trees as research. That's one thing I took away from my course, was to not use other people's trees as much as the documentation. So I try to just go by documents, and I take notes as I go. I even save some of the photos of the records, like this one right here, the draft card, and other things like newspaper clippings. So I put those in the book as well if it's a little low on photos. I do keep in contact with the client for more information. I stay in close contact with them the whole entire time. If I get stuck, or if I just want to share something really neat that I found about their family. So I'm always messaging them. I use findagrave.com and Wikitree for any additional information. I love Findagrave because you can actually see where they're buried and if their family members are buried there too, and their date of birth and date of death. So that's a nice way to just verify somebody also. I have the newspapers.com. I haven't had that long, but it has been really helpful and seeing more newspaper clippings and obituaries and things like that. Some of my favorite records are the census, wills, draft cards, and other military records, the marriage, divorce certificates, death certificates, and news articles. And that's just the news article on my business. I thought I would just put that in there. So the census tells like the residents and may put in the family members' names, the occupation, the personal and real estate value. It gives additional information like education. A lot of them say, do they own a radio set or not? Can they read or write? Can they speak English? But oftentimes the names are incorrect, the spelling. So I'll have clients sometimes tell me they'd like, for me to put in parentheses the correct spelling and things like that. So I put a photo of the actual scanned in copy of the census so you can kind of see it. And then that's what it looks like when you pull it up on ancestry.com. So sometimes it's nice to go to the actual document so you can make sure nothing was left out or make sure that an additional family wasn't added on to this household. The wills, I love the wills because they give a little more information on, and sometimes a lot more than the census. It'll tell you what they have as far as personal belongings, family members. It will indicate what religion they are a lot of times. I've seen a lot of them where it will say, I want to be buried in a Christian-like manner. It gives you an idea of who the person was. I like it because it'll name the slaves' names, and in the census records, their number. So I love that in the will, I can sometimes find their names. And also it'll have the ancestor's signature. And so I'll transcribe the will if I don't find one already transcribed. And I'll put who it's transcribed by, and I'll add the snapshot of the signature also so they can just see their ancestor's signature. And it'll tell the residents and maybe where their land is that they're leaving to someone else in their family. The draft cards and military records, I like this one the most because it tells you a visual description of what they look like. It'll tell you their residence, their age, their rank. I've seen prisoners of war, casualty information. I've seen one that was a deserter, and it'll tell you about some death, the time of death and things like that also. I like the pension records too. That'll tell you a lot of information. And so this is a draft card over here, and that's the back of the draft card, or that's the registrar's report. That's not the same person, but you can see where it'll tell you their race, their height, their weight, and things like that. So you can kind of get a picture of what they look like. I kind of got into this because my grandfather didn't really know his father, and I found this type of information for his dad. So I got to sit down with him and tell him more about his dad. So that was really nice. Marriage and divorce certificates will often have the parents' names, their age, previous marriage information, where they're living at the time, and their occupation. And this is an example of one that I used. And I like when I get some really good information like this, because then I can grow on it. So like this person worked at Kmart, and I found some news articles about her in her job. So I could grow from information like this.
I have a question.
Sure.
The work that you do you take the documents we already have and then combine it with additional search that you do? And can you do like one specific line of the family that we may be having trouble with?
Yeah, sure. So I talk to my clients and I offer certain packages, but a lot of times they want to do a little something a little different. And so I can work with anybody and do those things. I have a form where you just fill out the little bit of information that I need to get started. but any extra information like documents is so helpful. And anything, I had a lady that added letters to her book that she scanned in and I put in her books. So things like that, I can definitely do that. So the death certificates will say like parents' names, date of birth and death. It'll have the cause of death, health problems. It'll have their occupation and their residence. So this is one that that I used. And sometimes I can't quite make out what the cause of death is because of the handwriting. So me and my most recent client, we looked at it together and figured it out when she did her preview of her book, because I didn't have exactly what it was. So we actually figured it out together. So that was really nice. But this is an example of one that I went by. The news articles, I like the news articles because they tell a story. It'll include like life milestones. It'll tell you kind of where a person lives based on the newspaper. And it can tell you family members' names. This is a news article that I used for one of my clients. She was just so proud of it. She loved this. They had adopted a deer and they helped it and released it back to the wild. So I did a page in her book actually dedicated to Susie the deer. And she loved that. Her father kept that picture in his pocket when his wallet until the day he died of his daughter, his son, and the deer. So that was really important to her. So I felt like I should do a little dedication and she loved it. And this is also from her family, someone's anniversary, some of her ancestors' anniversary. So I love when I can find things like that, or when my clients share these things with me. I also had one that wasn't a newspaper article, but it was something on a news website. And it was about my client's grandmother, and she was doing an interview about a bear that had kept coming behind her house. And she was making jokes, and it was just so cute. And I love that I can put her personality in the book. I compile the information, then I put it in a narrative form in the book. And as I go through the book, I cite where I found the information. So it's in there with the narrative information. It'll be the citing as well. So I take the notes as I go, and that's kind of here and there, but then I organize them from the time they were born to the time they died, so they can kind of get a picture of their life. And I add embellishments and photos as I go. The embellishments I get from Shutterfly, and then the photos are any that I can find, and a lot that my client will send me. I design it on Shutterfly, and this is one of the books that I did. That's the back cover and the front. And she actually sent me those photos. That's the farm where she grew up. And some photos that I get don't become so clear, and I'll let them know, hey, do you have a different photo I can use? And so we'll kind of go through photos together, and she loved that, so I went with that. And so the backgrounds, they have all kinds of different backgrounds on Shutterfly, but I try to use the ones where you can read. You don't want it to be too dark or too geometrical and things like that, so you can see. So with this client, this is his page. So I start with my client or the person they're buying the book for. And you can't see it really well in the presentation, but the background is actually an army base that he sent me a picture of that he was at. And so I figured, why not just at least add that as a background and fade it out a little bit. So these are pictures he sent me. He sent me a lot of pictures, but I thought these kind of represented his life the most. And I put those in there and did his page for him. And so that's where I start, and then I grow the book from there. Let's see. After I complete the book, I allow the clients to review the book. I used to offer a refund or return or anything like that if it wasn't to their liking, but I've learned by doing this that the best thing to do is just keep them involved, let them look at the book. And then they can let me know what they want to change or what they want to add. And then, you know, it'll turn out the way they want it to be. So I love doing that. And my last client, that's the one that added the letter, and it turned out really well. Then at the end, I asked them if they'd like to do some add-ons. So they can do lay flat pages, which, you know, is just additional. And they can put a little pocket in the back of the book so they can put photos or their own records, you know, original documents in the back of the book. And they make their payments through my website most of the time. And then I ship it to them, and then I send them the information that when it's going to be there or that it's on its way. I'm still growing my business, and I've only been doing it for 4 months, so I'm still learning a lot, and I've learned a lot already, but I know I still have a lot more to learn. But I'm making some candles and doing some crafts products, but I love my books, and that's really what my business is all about, is mostly my books. And it's a little short because I was going to show you my website, but that's all I have on the presentation. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Okay, I'll open the floor to the class. While I'm waiting for for some questions to come in, I have a question.
Sure.
I know you mentioned Find a Grave. I have found that on Find a Grave, especially when it makes family relations, like, you know, connecting the Find a Grave to their parents or to their children, I have seen errors. I assume that, you know, you said you don't use other people's ancestry trees because of possible errors.
Right.
You build your own. Do you do the same thing with Find a Grave?
Yeah, so like the death certificate at the bottom, it'll say what funeral home and where they were buried. And I just search Find a Grave on my own. I don't go by like other people's trees. So I search it on my own, and I make sure like things match up, or that other family members are buried by them and things like that before I put them in the book. But I have found a lot of inconsistencies where it will pop up on my ancestry and say, this is so-and-so's stone. And then I look, and he died in Virginia, and his stone is in Ohio, and it's the day of the birth doesn't match and things like that. So I do find that also, but I verify it before I put it in their book.
I have a question. So one would get one book. What if other family members wanted the book? Then
Yeah.
you would.
Yeah, that I was going to go over that on my website, but yeah, so I offer a discount. So I have somebody right now that's getting one for her brother. So all I have to do is change out that first starting page and do her brother instead, and they have the same parents and so on. So I offer a major discount in those types of situations. And if they want a copy of the book, I've ordered copies of the book also, and they really only have to pay for the product cost. So they don't have to pay for research, since I've already done all the research.
So because sometimes there's family reunions, and there may be, 10 or 4 families and that sort of thing that would want that. So that would just figure into the reprint, not the research.
Right. And I have somebody that wanted to just start with grandparents for kind of a situation like that. And so then all she had to do was order copies instead of doing the first page to every individual.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, I noticed on the picture you showed of the cover, front and back, was that an ISBN number I saw?
Oh, with the barcode?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it comes for Shutterfly. So I go on Shutterfly and just do their photo book, and it's just blank. And so then I add everything in the book. So it does come with that barcode on the back.
Okay, so it's not really an ISBN then?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really related to.
Now, if I were to buy an ISBN and give it to you, you could put that in the book, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, because some people actually want to sell their family history books. rather than, just give them away or let relatives pay for them.
Right.
So, especially if it's
Yeah.
like a famous name or something like that, or somebody whose research, they're correcting prior done research that was done badly, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, that's an awesome idea.
Could you explain to me what that is, Suzanne, the ISBN?
An ISBN number is a unique number given to just not to that particular individual copy of the book, but to the book itself. And so that way, if you wanted to sell it, like let's say you wanted to sell it on through Barnes and Noble, or you wanted to sell it through Amazon.com, having that ISBN number allows it to identify specifically just that book. And it also helps to get the book cataloged. An ISBN number, helps in many, many ways to get your book out there in the public and make it easier for other libraries to put the book into their catalog.
That's all.
Because I was just like, okay, so if there's a one-time purchase of these books, how do we go back and do more and things like that? So.
Well, Megan, that's a good question. Does Shutterfly only retain the information for so long? Like I know other companies like PrinterPix, they will only retain the book for I think it's like 90 days, unless you make an amendment to it. And then it'll save it for another 90 days. Then you have to resave it again with one amendment and so on and so on. Does Shutterfly do the same thing?
The longest I've had a book out there is about 10 years, and it's still on my Shutterfly. So I don't know exactly how long they keep the information, but everything I have is still on there. So it's at least 10 years because I still have my mother-in-law's book I made her on there.
Oh, good. Okay, so that makes it a lot easier to use than companies like PrinterPix.
Right.
Okay. Now, do you offer fold-out pages? I know a lot of people in their family history books, they want to put their family tree in it. And a lot of, these self-publishing companies don't offer fold-outs. Does Shutterfly?
I don't think they offer fold-out pages, but I did have a client that wanted a chart in his book. And that's actually how I came across the Ancestry.com books. So I bought a template and I put it in the back of the books, and I do their chart and their tree, but it only goes up to 8 generations. But I don't have like a fold out, but that's something good for me to look into.
Okay. Now you mentioned citations. Do you do the citation throughout the book, or do you have like a page dedicated to it in the back of the book?
Yeah, I just do it throughout the book. So I'll just say, according to the 1960 census, this and that and this, or something like that. I'll put things like that throughout the book.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, you kind of at the beginning of the class mentioned you're starting up, that you're a new business owner. Now, one of the things I really encourage in my class is for people to branch out and become professional genealogists or in any genealogy related field, because I mean, it really is kind of a hot area right now for people to get into. This is kind of off the topic of books, but as a startup new business regarding genealogy, can you kind of share with the class a little bit of information about, step by step how you did it?
Sure. So I was really interested in doing it because I was thinking, what am I going to get my grandparents for Christmas? Because they're a little hard to buy for. And so I created these books for them just because I love my genealogy, and I thought this would be a little something different. And so I made them each their own book, and they loved it. And it was such a wonderful gift, even to me, just giving them the book. So I thought this would be fun to do for other people, and this would be something that I would love to do. So I just kind of put it out there on Facebook and asked people to share it. And I was like, I just want to make a book for somebody for this amount of money. It's a really low price. I just want to see how it goes. So that's kind of how I got into it. And, she loved her book and I love doing it. So I kind of got a feel of how to do it in like a business sense. And so then I went and got my LLC online, and they sent me all the information in the mail. And because I do all my work from home, I really don't have to put that much money into it. So I don't have to have I didn't have to get a loan to start up and things like that. So it's been fairly easy to start my own business in genealogy. So I've loved it. So I really only have to pay for I pay for my domain for my website, but the website was free through GoDaddy.com. So anybody can make their own website. And I made my own Facebook page for free. So there's a lot out there. And the newspaper actually contacted me and asked me if they could do an article on me, and that helped me a lot. So it doesn't cost a lot, and it's fairly easy to do. I've loved it.
Now, do you restrict your business only to the genealogy of families, or do you do it like the genealogy of companies? Like I know I've been approached by companies over the past where they wanted me to write a book about the history of their company, like the genealogy, so to speak, of their company. Do you also do non-family situations?
I actually had never thought of that. So that's really, really interesting. I think that'd be something I would love to do. I haven't had anybody say anything about that. So that's a learning point for me. That would be an interesting thing for me to look into.
Yeah, I've even had lineage societies, like local chapters, reach out to me where they wanted me to write the history of their chapter.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's interesting. That would be really neat.
Okay, well, that's good to know. All right, so what probably at this point, what I'd like you to do is on the computer you're sharing with, if you don't mind, stop sharing, and then we're going to try to get your website up in its place.
Oh, okay.
So if you can go ahead and open up your website and then start to share again. Okay, now we can see your website.
Okay, great. I've never used Zoom before, so this is kind of new to me. Okay, so yeah, this is my website, and it does say the GoDaddy. So I pay for just the domain, where I can just do the .com. Added on, I feel like it's about $3 a month, so it's not that much, and it's just easier for people to type in megansgenealogydesigns.com rather than to remember the GoDaddy part. I just typed in genealogy when I made my website, and they give you a layout. So a lot of this is just included in the website. So that was awesome. And this is a book that this is the book that I made for my grandfather, actually. And I just put what the information consists of. And if they push this button, request for more information, it just sends me an email. And I just introduce myself, who I am. I know there's a lot of people out there that are unfortunately scam other people. And especially when you're just doing everything online, I want them to get a feel that I'm an actual real person. And I put a video down here also so they can see me speaking about my business and things like that. I have this photo gallery here just so that people can kind of see what I research and things. Some of them, most of them are my own family because that's how I started out. So this is a book that I did. This is a page from a book I did, or 2 pages. And also that one. And so just kind of, I put my work up here so people can kind of see how it would look. That's my grandmother's book I did with, that's my great-grandma's flower garden in the background. And that's my grandfather's. And this is Camp Douglas. So as I'm doing the research, I learned more, and I got to the prisoner of war information, and it said Camp Douglas. And I was like, I wanted to learn more about it. So I put this up here for a visual. And so I learned more about the things that I'm researching. And like you were mentioning at the beginning of the class, the word that you looked up and defined and everything, I do that too. I find something and I don't know what in the world it means, and then I go Google it, and I oftentimes put that in the book also to just share the information. So this tells you more about my books. It'll tell you about how long it'll be. One person can just sometimes be a paragraph, few sentences, or it could be several pages, just depending on how much research information that I can find. And I go through here and tell you that I use Shutterfly, and I talk about the packages a little bit and the turnaround time. And then this is the packages. So it normally takes me about 55 hours to do a 6th generation book. So when I took my genealogy course, it told you how to kind of price things, like your research and things. So I took the number that I absolutely needed to pay my bills and make it. And then I took that number and I just went in between. So I also added my monthly expenses, but I divide them up in between how many books I can do a month. So that's kind of where I got my prices. And after 7 generations, I just narrow it down to individuals because I don't want to offer a package and then not find but a few people in the generation. So I'll offer that also for per individual. And this is the book from Ancestry. So their book is just autofill with the information from your tree. So this way, all I'd have to do is the research and I wouldn't actually have to create the book. And I want everybody to be able to have their history. So I wanted to offer something less expensive that they could get. And this is the video I was telling you about where I just do like a breakdown. So I try to explain everything so that everybody's on the same page. The fees, the shipping's included, and then the taxes are added afterwards. And a lot of people want to start the book with 2 people, like a couple. So I've done some of those, but the prices are based on an individual. So I just have to talk to them. And most of the time I just end up going up, you know, a generation package since it'll be 2 people that I'm starting with. Shutterfly does add-ons, so I could do like an ornament with a picture of your family on there and things like that. I could just add in for you. Or if you wanted a calendar, I could design the calendar for you. I haven't had anybody do a review like on Facebook, so I just added in like the messages they send me, so people could at least look at what they say.
Excuse me, I want to interrupt. What was the digital add-on up above?
That is from Shutterfly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's from Shutterfly, and so it'll give me a link, and so I can just send that to you, and it'll take you to Shutterfly, and it'll take you to the book that I made. And I haven't looked into that a lot, but I do know that much. I don't know. I think you can make changes to it once I send it to you, or you can just order it straight from Shutterfly, and you can just order it as many times you want and save it. I do gift cards also, just so when I'm at a vendor event, someone will say, "Oh, this would be good for my mom," or "This will be good for so and so." And I have a form that they fill out and they don't know the information right offhand. And that's just a nice little thing that they can, you know, give as a gift instead. And this is about the discount. So if somebody is like the brother or so-and-so and all I have to do is change a few family members, then I do it for a lot cheaper since I've already done all the research. And then if somebody refers someone else, then I give a 5% discount to that person, and then the person that is my new client also. Sometimes I put like seasonal sales or discounts on my Facebook page, and I put like cool stories I find on my Facebook page and things like that. So this is where you can do the order form. And if you're thinking about doing your own business, this is an awesome tool. It's called Jotform.com, and it's free. And so you can do pay vouchers, order forms, you can do all kinds of stuff, and it's completely free. So this is where they would do it online. And I have a printout for like my vendor events. And so they would just put their name and the person that they want the book to be for. And so I made this to where it can be joint also, so they can fill out information for the husband and wife or things like that. This is where it'll be shipping to, the address and the name. I get extra contact information so they can I can do email, phone, but I don't have to use all of it, but I just get it in case I can't get in touch with them. This is where they would select their package, and they can type in any kind of little add-on they want to do, and they can actually upload their photos here that they want to put in. I haven't had anybody use this, but they normally just send me the photos on Facebook Messenger or text throughout the process, because they'll find some more photos they want to add. And this just covers like liability things, so that we're on the same page and they understand how the payments work and refunds and things like that. And then they would just accept, and this actually goes straight to my email. So I always have this information and I don't have to look for it. I just go to my email and click it, and all this information is emailed to me, and this is completely free through Jotform. And then I have other things, like they can just make a payment straight from my website, and they can also just contact me. Then click this and it just emails me. And that's pretty much the gist of my website, but it's just an awesome tool that's basically free, and you can create that and do your Jotform for free. And that's an awesome asset to your business if that's something you wanted to do.
Can you show us your Facebook page?
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
Maybe you can just open up another tab. Yeah, right there. And hopefully it'll show on the screen.
Okay. I got all this other little stuff right here, so I'll just type it in right here and hopefully it'll just pop up. Oh, it's right here.
Perfect.
Yep, so this is my Facebook page. And so I have that as my little cover photo. But I have some really interesting stories. If I find an interesting story, or if a client says I can share something on here, I'll share it. And I share other websites information as well. So it's pretty neat. I love my Facebook page because I can always put updates on here. And that's like a giveaway that I did. Let me see if I can get to this one. This is actually my pastor, and he was so excited about my business. He showed me the church records book from the 1800s, and that was such an awesome thing that I got to do. I was just honored to be able to just touch the book. But yeah, I put stuff like that on my Facebook page so people can just stay up to date with what I've got going on with my business.
Now, yeah, for like, let's say 5 generations, I mean, does the book go by the price of the book, or does it go by how many pages are contained in the book?
I just go by just the price, the package price. So every time I add pages, it does cost more the more pages I add, but I just do a standard package for 5, 6, and 7 generations.
Okay, so what is typically, how many pages is a 5 generation book versus 6 or 7?
So a 5 generation book, I would say I'm getting ready to start on creating a 5 generation book now. I would say it's probably going to be about, I would say about 24 pages probably. And so I did a 7 generation book, and that was on into like 60 pages or so.
Okay, great. So the amount of space that you get, it's not really done by individuals, it's more like by branch of the tree.
Yeah, it's just how much ever information that I find. So if I do a will, that'll take up about a page. And you know, if there's not a lot of information besides like their date of birth or their date of death, I put as much as I can find. But sometimes I've had it where it's just a little bit of information. Sometimes I've had it where it's pages of information based on like documents and things like that.
Okay. Any other questions, class? So we'll open up the floor. Give it a few seconds. Okay, so I guess that the best way to reach you is through your Facebook page or through your web page. Is that correct, Megan?
Yeah. Everything is on my Facebook and on my webpage, also my email and my website. And you can just message me directly on Facebook also.
And for those who are not Facebook savvy, can you show how to send a private message?
Oh, sure. So let's see. So when you just log into your Facebook, it'll have this right here, this little icon, and you can just click that. And it's just like send an email, and you just type it in, and it's just like Facebook email basically. And you more than welcome to email me too at megan.genealogy@yahoo.com if that's easier.
On your Facebook page, it's lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Facebook is so valuable when it comes to genealogy. I use my Facebook all the time for genealogy.
Yeah, I love that.
As a matter of fact, I've even got a couple of Facebook pages dedicated to just certain family lines, and it's a private, Facebook group where it's by invitation only.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, that way you can, people are more apt to say things on a private Facebook page that they would not say on a public one.
Right, absolutely, that's for sure. I have joined some groups like the older pictures and things like that, and I love sharing their stuff. And there's some that I had to ask to join in, so it's been pretty neat.
Wonderful. Okay. So any questions? I want to give the class one last chance before we say thank you.
I don't have a question, but once we can go video again, talking about the old church records.
Yeah,
I've got a Bible from 1847.
that's awesome.
My Norwegian, I think great or great grandmother, and I had it restored.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I can't read it because it's in Norwegian.
Old, so it just made me so excited. So that's amazing.
And then I have a hymnal from the late 1800s of a church my great grandfather helped found in Saskatchewan.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and the book person said it didn't need restored. And then I've got another Bible that was a family Bible of my mother's, and she died in 1961. So this is, an old family heirloom from then. So it's cool.
Like family members' names and dates of birth from the Bible too. Like I've seen that a lot, and that's really cool.
Yeah, and I don't have that, but I do have the original page where one of my ancestors wrote on it.
Oh, that's so cool. I have grandmother's Bible, and she didn't really have anything in there but a bookmark on a page, and I thought that was amazing. And that was very small, but I thought that was nice.
Oh, yeah. If anyone ever needs a book restored, this one woman is incredible, and she's not very expensive.
That's awesome.
Okay, any other questions, class? Give it a few seconds. Okay, well, Megan, it looks like all the questions have been answered, and I want to say thank you so much for your time and your expertise today. And also thank you very much for allowing us to record. It's much appreciated. It'll take our marketing department a few weeks to get it up on our website. But if you check our website, and I'll send you, in fact, I think I need to write myself a note to do that here. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to send you my links to the YouTube channel and to our webpage. So with that, I'll say thank you very, very much. And before I say goodbye, I want to remind everyone, if there's anything in the chat box that you want, please download it before you leave. Of course, we have a whole second half of class for the next couple of hours. So I'm inviting all of you to stay. And if you're new to the class today, I think you'll really enjoy it if you've been here for many, many weeks in the past. I know we all have a lot of fun in the second half of class. So with that, Megan, if you would like to say goodbye to the class, and if you'd like to exit, all you have to do is click on the red exit button.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you so much. And I've learned a lot, and it's been awesome. Thank you for the privilege to be able to do this.
Thank you once again, Megan.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.